Alright everyone, welcome to my Square Enix recap and reactions video to their press conference for E3 2015. Here we go. There we are. Alright, hello everyone. Square Enix, in a surprise move this year. I think I would say it was a surprise move because we haven't actually had a press conference from these guys in particular at E3 in quite some time. It's not that they don't make a lot of games. I think they just didn't really feel that they had enough in recent years to compile together an entirety of a press conference. But in 2015 they did, and I'll be honest, I think that's a good thing. I actually think that for a company that has been a tried and true game developer for a long time, to say we are doing well to the point where we have so much coming out in the next couple of years we want to do our own conference is a great thing. So, they immediately opened up their press conference with Just Cause 3, okay? Now, this is hilarious to me because years ago when Just Cause 2 came out, I didn't even know what the hell it was, seriously. And everyone was like, Phil, are you going to play Just Cause 2? Phil, Just Cause 2, is it coming up? Are you going to play it? Phil, this week, Just Cause 2? Phil, tonight, Just Cause 2? Phil, this, Just Cause 2, Just Cause 2, Just Cause 2, Just Cause 2, Just Cause, Just Cause, Just Cause. And for about 2 months, I kid you not, around the release of Just Cause 2, all people asked me is if I was playing it. Now, I didn't understand the appeal of the game back then. I hadn't even really heard about it too much about it. And so it wasn't on my radar, and I really didn't give a shit about it. So Just Cause 3, they present all this information about it to open the show. They say, it is a true sandbox action-adventure game with a wingsuit, a grappling hook that now has all kinds of new properties, like you could throw multiple grappling hooks and pull things together to latch them together. They show this pretty crazy gameplay where you're flying planes, you're driving cars. You basically, you know what this really reminded me of? And I was thinking about this while I was watching the actual gameplay trailers and footage of the game. Red Faction Guerrilla, yeah, and that was a long fucking time ago. What was that, 2009, that I played Red Faction Guerrilla, so 6 years ago? It kind of reminds me of that game, a game where almost everything is destructible. So if you have the right tools and you use the right combinations of things, you can blow the living shit out of everything in the game. And they even explain the premise is that, I guess you're in some country and it's overcome by some dictator, and what you need to do is try to take the country back, so you're finding zany ways to blow up critical points and take over the country back from this dictator. And it looks pretty fucking crazy. It really does. And, so then they have the guy who's like one of the head devs come out for this, right? Now, this was weird. I have to admit, out of all the press conferences that I saw at E3 this year, and even since I've been covering E3, the Square Enix press conference for 2015 was bizarre. Because you could tell it was a very small venue, a very small room. Maybe there was a smaller selection of journalists who were allowed into the room for this press conference. Because it was very quiet. Even when people clapped, it was very low clap. You could tell there wasn't a lot of people there. And the guy would come up, all of them, everyone, comes up to a podium. It looks, I swear to you, it looks like you're in high school, and you're about to like, read, you know, sometimes in high school, you have to give a speech, or you have to read, like, a sonnet, or a soliloquy from a Shakespearean play. That's what it felt like to me. Like someone was walking up to give a speech in high school, rather than to present a game to be going for sale soon to the masses. Very bizarre. And so the guy walks up, and he starts giving information about Just Cause 3, like he's like, and there will be a wingsuit, and it's really cool because you'll be able to maneuver in the air. It's not like the parachute from previous games. And there will be a grappling hook which has multiple kinds of things that you can use in the game, and you will have free open world. So you see what I'm doing? It's like you could blatantly tell everyone at this press conference was reading from a teleprompter over here. Every time they would talk, they were like, and then, because what would do is they would need to see what their prompt was, then they would elaborate from their own experience of making the game. It was very bizarre. If anything, like, if I were going to be a presenter at E3, I would memorize my speech. I certainly would not be reading from the teleprompter right over here that you could see me reading from, but that's what they chose to do. It was very weird. But anyway, I'll be honest with you. I have not seen any gameplay, anything about Just Cause 3 until this press conference. I saw this press conference. I'm actually quite hyped for the game. Like, this game, just this press conference sold me on the game. I was like, it's free-flowing, it's open world, you can blow the shit out of whatever you want, you run around, you kill people, you grab weapons, it seems to be zany fun with mission-based structure. This game looks awesome to me. And I'm actually very much looking forward to playing Just Cause 3, which they gave a release date, is coming out November, I'm going to say, December 1st, 2015. So yeah, what a bang for the beginning of December. Traditionally, December is a month that there's not that many releases this year. In fact, this year's the exception. There's like already, right now, it's looking like there's going to be 3 or more major releases coming out in December of 2015. And Just Cause 3 is the first one of that month. I'm very much looking forward to playing it. I want to play Just Cause 3. It looks great. Up next, they start running this promo, and I'm like, this kind of looks like the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer that we saw at the Sony press conference last night. But it wasn't. It kind of changes a little bit. I didn't understand too much of it, but then at the end they explained it's Nier. Nier is this game series that's been around. I believe it had at least 1, if not 2 installments prior to this. There's a new Nier game coming out. A lot of people said to me, Phil, you played Drakengard 3 last year. Don't take that as a representation of what Nier is. That game's fucking really weird, and Nier is a much different kind of game than that, much more serious. I'll be honest, I didn't get it. I totally didn't get it, but it seems like it's a series that had a lot of hoopla. People were excited. I said Nier. People were like, yeah! So apparently people get it. Seems like some kind of an action RPG hybrid. I don't know. There was no gameplay, so I really don't know. Okay? Alright. Next, a game developer came out with a fucking weird-ass, I shit you not, a weird-ass helmet mask fucking thing. I don't know what it was. But apparently this game developer, I didn't catch his name, and I apologize because I should have written it down, but I didn't get it. This game developer is known that he only shows up at press conferences and in public wearing masks. So it almost looked like, you know what it looked like? A bloated, swollen Jack Skellington head from The Nightmare Before Christmas is what this guy was wearing. Not kidding you not. Comes out with this on, and he's talking in Japanese, and I can't understand him anyway, but he was just so distracting. I couldn't even tell you 2 words he fucking said, because all I could see was this big, bloated fucking Jack Skellington head. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Very weird. Obviously, the guy's either eccentric, or he thinks that it's funny. Very odd. I don't know. People got pictures of him going like this, duh, with this helmet on. Like that. I don't know. Very weird. Alright, next game that they presented was Tomb Raider. Yeah, they show a little bit of Rise of the Tomb Raider, and they actually go into detail for the first time about the realism of the character, and they show we put a painstaking amount of time into Rise of the Tomb Raider to make Lara Croft look realistic on the next-gen consoles. It's gonna be amazing. Oh yeah, by the way, it comes out on Xbox One the same day as Fallout 4, so no one's gonna play it. But maybe when it finally comes out for PS4, someone will play it. Thanks a lot. And I feel bad. I really do feel bad, because I'll be honest, I really, really liked Tomb Raider's reboot 2 years ago. Well, 2 years ago, it was 2013. I had just went to direct capture, right? I'd just been doing direct capture and streaming. That game was an excellent game. Great graphics, fun gameplay, a really riveting and kind of adult-oriented, gory plot. I very much enjoyed the reboot of Tomb Raider. I'm sad that this game is now going to fucking be exclusive, timed exclusive Xbox One when it's coming out the same day as fucking Fallout 4, and no one will be playing it besides maybe the small demographic who don't want to play Fallout. That game is going to be swept under the rug, you know what I mean, until later. People are just going to play other stuff, and I'll be honest, I might wait, because with all the other games coming out, I might wait to even play it. I don't know. We'll have to see. The game looks great. It suffers from bad release date syndrome. Okay? Then they went to mobile games. I'm like, oh, mobile games, son of a bitch. Here we go again, right? So for mobile games, they said, we just had a successful one. It was called Hitman Go, and it was a mobile game where it was mini Hitman missions on a small plane, and it was a big bestseller. So we're going to do that. We're actually going to do a mobile version of Lara Croft Go, where it really doesn't play anything like Tomb Raider, but it's Lara Croft in an adventure setting, and it's going to be a new mobile game. I'm like, okay, maybe people who are like heavily into mobile games, you know what I mean? But I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be like, wow, you know, like it blows me away to play Lara Croft on mobile. I just think it's going to be another mobile game that's going to be here or there and then be forgotten, okay? Okay. So, up next, they actually showed a montage of 3 games, very quick with no release dates. Final Fantasy XIV Heaven Sword, which I guess is the expansion for the MMO Final Fantasy XIV. I don't really care about that. Life is Strange, which I didn't understand. The game's out. 3 of the 5 episodes are already out for the game, so why they're advertising Life is Strange still, I don't know. And then Dragon Quest Heroes. Now, this one, they didn't explain anything about this game at the press conference. From what I'm going to understand, it's a game that's going to be kind of similar almost to Legend of Zelda Hyrule Warriors, where it's going to be kind of a beat-em-up game where you play as the heroes from all the Dragon Quest games, beating up against the minions from all the Dragon Quest games. That sounds fun to me. I like Dragon Quest. A lot of you guys don't know this, but right before I started doing stuff for YouTube, I actually went out and bought all those Nintendo DS versions of the Dragon Quest games, and I played through them and beat them all. So I've actually played almost every Dragon Quest game in the series up to the one that was on PlayStation 2. That, I think, was 8. I never played that one, but I think I played, like, what was it, like 2 or 3 through 7 that were actually on the Nintendo DS. I loved them, and I would love to play that game. I'm sad that I don't know if anyone will be interested in watching me play that game, but I would like to play that game. Sadly, it literally was shown in a montage and didn't get, you know, they didn't show, oh, here's the date it's out. I heard it's coming out supposedly in the summer, but I couldn't confirm that. I'm going to have to look it up because they did not give this game any kind of attention during the press conference, which kind of let me down a little bit. Okay. Then they announced that Final Fantasy VII, the remake... No, haha, we got you motherfuckers. For the PC, the Final Fantasy VII port for the PC, which if you guys don't know this, Final Fantasy VII for the PC came out in the late 90s. It was like maybe 2 or 3 years after it had come out on the PS1. And the graphics, surprisingly enough, were better than those on PS1 on the PC, but the game still had issues. There were some bugs. There was like some weird issues with the graphics. I remember because I had this game. I played through it the whole thing on PC. It certainly looked better than the PS1 version, but it still didn't look great and it had issues. That version is being released for iOS, excuse me, this summer, so it's going to actually come out, the PC version, on, you know, iPad or whatever this summer, and it's coming out for the PS4 in the winter. I'm going to say this clearly and succinctly to everyone out there. Do not buy this game. I've played the PC version of Final Fantasy VII. It had bugs. The graphics were not great. It was kind of an inferior version. Now, maybe they remastered it and they made it a little better. Wait, they're making a remake. They're remaking Final Fantasy VII. Why would you want to play this really inferior version now just to replay the same game? Of course, they'll redo it with other stuff. Wait, seriously. Just wait. I wouldn't play that version of the game. I seriously wouldn't. I don't think it's going to be anything worth it. And just wait for the remake, in my opinion, anyway. That's my take on it. If anything, I'd rather play the original. I would much rather play the original than a PC port of it. You know what I mean? Okay. Alright, up next, we had Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. Yes, a mobile game. There's going to be a Kingdom Hearts mobile game. And the graphics look like similar graphics from the Final Fantasy, what was it? Theatrhythm, yeah, that touchscreen game where you play this music for Final Fantasy. The graphics are very similar to that. It looks pretty crappy in my opinion. It looks like a hack-and-slash generic game that will more than likely you have to pay to win, and I'm not interested in it at all. Maybe you are, but I'm not interested in a Kingdom Hearts hack-and-slash mobile game. Kingdom Hearts 3 had a trailer shown and actually showed some real gameplay of the game that I was pretty thrilled to see. Look, the graphics look great. I was impressed. As someone who just recently, in the past couple of years, played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 with their HD remakes, right? What was it? 2 years, so late 2013 to 2014, I played Kingdom Hearts 1. Last year, I played Kingdom Hearts 2. So I'm actually very excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. The gameplay looked good, but very disappointingly, not even a hint at a release date, and not too much was given up about the game. It was like a trailer between 2 characters. I didn't know who they were. One of them, I swear to God, one of them, their voices sounded like Ferris Bueller. And I forget the guy's name. Who's the actor? Who is that? He's married to Sarah Jessica Parker. Oh God, what is the actor's name? I can't put my finger on his name right now. He played in the Godzilla movie in the 1990s from the American version. It was fucking terrible. Why can't I remember his name right now? I can't remember his name. The voice sounded like him, and I was like, please, Lord, don't tell me they're going to get him for voice acting. But I digress. I was a little disappointed that there was no actual, even, like, say, by the end of 2016. No, not even a hint, nothing. And that kind of pissed me off. But at least they're making it, right? At least they're making it. Okay, up next was Worlds of Final Fantasy, which we first got a taste of at a previous press conference this at E3. We'd already seen some of it. But yeah, what they explained in this game, Matthew Broderick is the name of the voice actor I was trying to say. He's an actor. I swear the voice actor sounds like Matthew Broderick. But anyway, Worlds of Final Fantasy. A new Final Fantasy game where you're a little mini chibi version of like Final Fantasy characters, but you can create bigger versions that look like Kingdom Hearts characters. You can recruit monsters from multiple Final Fantasy games over the years. The way they explain this game is basically that they want this game to introduce the Final Fantasy universe to people who've never played it before. I don't understand how people who don't know who the characters are, and you're forcing chibi versions of the characters down their throats, are going to understand. But I'm actually interested to see what this game turns out being. It's going to come out for the PS4 and PS Vita, and it's coming out in 2016. I'm actually kind of interested in it, so we'll see. Being that I know all the characters from all the Final Fantasy games, I might actually like this game, so let's see what happens with that, okay? Alright, so then, they actually, they talk a little bit about Hitman, the new Hitman game coming out, which was a surprise. We learned about this yesterday. We had no idea a new Hitman game was coming out, but it is. The new Hitman game is just called Hitman. It's coming out on December 8th. So again, another December release. Like I said, this December seems to be very heavy. But this game's going to be very different from previous Hitman games. It's going to be a episodic digital... Oh, by the way, hold on a second. I'm going to switch over here to not Nintendo. Oops. But this. Aha. To my other alternate background. Again, special thanks to Dark Maggot and Amen Ra, who made these for me. Alright, so they announced that, yes, this will be an episodic game where the first kind of assassination mission will be released December 8th, and then based off of how people play this game and the opinions and feedback of the consumers who actually bought it, they're going to make episodic missions coming out over the course of several months into 2016, where you're going to be able to assassinate people through different kinds of combat and different kinds of you know, assassin gameplay. If the better or more kind of interesting way that you assassinate the enemies, you'll unlock stuff. So if you just do the straightforward, walk through the front door, guns blazing, run, kill the guy, and escape, kind of, you know, you're not going to get very good points. If you go through by disguising yourself and you sneak up on the guy and you assassinate him from behind, maybe you'll get decent points. If you completely stay within cover the entire time, you poison the guy in a drink, maybe you'll get high points. And every time you do this, you unlock new equipment. So there's actually incentive to replay every mission over and over to find the most or highest point ranking way to beat it. The final thing they show is if you did it like a really good way, you get enough points, you could buy a sniper rifle and just snipe the guy from all the way across the street. So now you're completely phantom zone. No one can tell, right? No one can tell that it was you. So it was pretty cool in my opinion. I like the incentive that the game is episodic. So if it comes out with only one mission, you have incentive to replay that mission several times, maybe 4 or 5 hours, keep replaying it, so you find a really cool way to get high ranking points, right? And then on the next mission, you can implement your points you got, you know what I mean, with equipment and loadouts for the next mission. I think it can work, but there's a couple things that make me skeptical, alright? Number one, they mentioned during the trailer that this Hitman game is going to have limited time only targets, meaning you will have a limited time frame to take out certain targets. If you don't kill them during that certain time frame, you'll never get to a chance again. Now, here's what I don't understand. Are they talking about in-game? Like, oh, it's the mission, and there's a target. You only have 2 chances to kill him. If you don't kill him, then you can never kill him. Or are they saying there's a mission that you can only play for 2 weeks, and if you don't play it within those 2 physical weeks of the year, you can't play it again? It was confusing, and it could be interpreted in different ways, which is why I don't want to say it one way or the other. However it's interpreted, okay, but I want to get a definitive answer from Square Enix on what did you mean by that statement. So I'm a little worried, but I want to hear more information about it before I make a judgment. They also said that you'll be able to make your own levels. So you'll actually be able to design your own assassination missions, and you'll be able to kind of share that with the world. This was in the last Hitman game, by the way. What was it, Hitman Absolution? Yeah, it was in that game where you can make your own levels and share them with the world, and that they'll be ranked or whatever. And so that's a cool feature, too, that it's not just these episodic missions. You'll be able to make your own missions, too. I like that. I'm curious to see how this does. Will this be successful, an episodic release of Hitman, instead of just a full-fledged, full-production game? Let's find out. But I'm going to be playing Hitman on December 8th. I loved Hitman Absolution, and I want to play this game, so I'm on board for that. Full throttle, I'm on board for that, okay? Then they did another montage. This time it was Hitman, Sniper, Triad Wars, and Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15, I don't have to say much about. We know it's not coming out next year. We're not sure when it's coming out, but it is in development. Big deal. Hitman Sniper, you guys might not know this, is an arcade game. Hitman Sniper is an actual arcade game where there was a sniper rifle, you would aim it, and in a physical arcade, I'm talking an arcade you would go to outside of your house, not console game, and you would snipe enemies. I remember seeing this in arcades around the late 2000s. Apparently, it's being ported to be a console game, or it's a new game with the same premise. I don't know, but apparently this is a game coming out. Triad Wars looked a lot like Sleeping Dogs to me, but I couldn't really tell. It was in a montage. They gave no release dates or nothing. They're just basically saying they're in development. Okay, great. All right. Then they did Star Ocean, Integrity, and Faithlessness. Now, I'll be honest with everyone. Star Ocean is kind of one of those series that went completely by me. Whoop! I had no real awareness of what it was. I never played one before. And I think they had 3 or 4 installments in the series, right? And I never played Star Ocean. So, it looks to me like it's kind of like a traditional JRPG, but then when they actually showed combat, it was more action-based. I just think kind of like the Tales of series. But the other thing that threw me for a loop, there were 6 characters. 6 fucking characters in the game fighting at once. So 6 characters on the screen fighting enemies, and it looked like you could maybe switch between them. So it was kind of interesting in that regard. And I'm like, how are you going to be able to control 6? And there was actually, looked like there was more for up to 8. 8 characters fighting at once. I don't know. Again, I don't know too much about Star Ocean, so I'm certainly not going to say anything good or bad because I don't know. You know what I mean? But I guess we shall see. All right. Then they did the big presentation on Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which they have now announced that that it's going to be early 2016, which is good. We now know it'll come out in at least the first half of 2016, right? They announced that the plot line here is that people who were augmented in the world of Deus Ex are now being persecuted kind of by the people in the government, and they're being like almost captured. Think about, you know, how the Native Americans, kind of the same thing happened when America was being populated by Europeans, or even, I hate to say it, Nazi Germany, right? When they were persecuting the Jews. It's kind of the same thing here. They're persecuting, augmented humans. And they're putting them into like separate, they're arresting them, they're putting them into camps and stuff like that. Pretty interesting. And that's an interesting premise, but that's all they really talked about. They didn't go too far into it, and that's coming out in early 2016. Thumbs up for me for that one. Final Fantasy Portal app is announced, which is basically going to be an app similar to all these companies are now announcing that go to our Bethesda app, go to the EA app, go to the Final Fantasy Portal app, and we'll have all of our information there, including release dates and promotional videos. It's a non-entity. No one should really care about this. And then to close the show, announcement of a new IP. They said a new studio has been created called Tokyo RPG Factory. And it was hilarious because I swear to you, every single RPG in this show from Square Enix opened with piano music. And this one was no exception. They opened doom, 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 doom. And obviously I don't like dramatic piano music. I do. I'm a fan of it. But it was just kind of weird that doom, 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 doom. Every single freaking thing has dramatic piano music. You know what I mean? And so they open it up. They show it's going to be a new project. It's going to be called Project Setsuna. They're like, we don't want to give you any details yet. Just know we're working on a brand new IP RPG. It's going to have some cool level design and more information on that when it's coming out. And that was it, basically. They were like, oh, that's it. Okay. And then, and I hate to say it, because this is so cliche, and I did call out Microsoft for doing it. So I will, to be fair, I will call out Square Enix for doing it as well. At the end of this press conference, the big boy comes out, right? And he says, here we go. This E3 Square Enix press conference has been the most powerful, the most unique, and the most diverse product line that Square Enix has ever shown you. And I'm like, listen, no. Was this good? Absolutely. I actually liked the fact we saw Just Cause 3. The Final Fantasy remake had already been announced. We're excited about that, right? Rise of the Tomb Raider. We're getting expansions for existing games. We got new series coming out. We've got Deus Ex. We've got Kingdom Hearts 3 being worked on. We got a new game, Worlds of Final Fantasy, a new Hitman, right? Star Ocean. All these. It doesn't mean it's absolutely the best. That's a subjective thing. For you to say that is completely subjective. You say, in my opinion, this is the best lineup we've ever had. That is a correct statement. Not, this is the best lineup we've ever had. I hit the buzzer. wrong. You can't say that. You can't say that as a objective yes or no, black or white fact, because people will always have opinions, and the thing is, wrong. You cannot get on stage at E3 and say that, just like Microsoft hit the gong, here, hit the buzzer, cannot say that. Overall, I liked the Square Enix press conference. It actually left me feeling pretty positive. It left me with a smile on my face to know that we got 2 great games from Square Enix that look like they're coming out in December. We've got other great RPGs in the works. I'm pretty excited. And that's a good feeling to have, to feel pretty excited moving into a gaming year. And I kind of said this before I even did E3 coverage this year. I said, I got a good feeling about this year. Now that I've covered every press conference, I do feel pretty good about late 2015 into 2016. Looks like it may almost be the second gaming renaissance. You know what I mean? Like, we had this gaming renaissance during E3 a few years back. It was right around the earlier years of PS3 and Xbox 360. I'm getting that feeling again. That's a good thing. So the Square Enix press conference, I enjoyed overall. I thought that it was a lot of good information about games, not a lot of fluff. Although I did think that it was a very amateurish presentation. Again, I will read from teleprompter. Oh, yeah, that's a good point about the game I'll elaborate on, but I forgot what the next one is, so I'll read from the teleprompter. That was kind of the whole thing. And again, the fact that it was so small scale, you know what I mean? It was small scale in this really small hall. Didn't feel like you were even at E3. Like, where am I? But it was still a very good press conference, and I enjoyed it. So, thank you for watching my recap and reactions to the Square Enix press conference. I hope that you'll check out all of my coverage of E3 and all the press conferences that I did cover on my YouTube channel, DSPGaming. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you later.